All right, all right. Hey guys, welcome back. So this is bonus general message part 3. If you didn't watch part 1 and part 2, you'll definitely want to do that first. The free links are right there in the description box. But we're going to jump on in because we were just getting to, I guess we'll call it the juicy bit, where we kind of turned our attention to that King of Swords and said, okay, then why did they, the choices that they made, one after the other, after the other, after the other, seem to consistently contribute to the demise of this storyline. Meaning the choices that they made pushed away a person that they seemed like they really wanted, but they made a bunch of mistakes, and then they made another mistake on top of that mistake. It's kind of what we saw. And with those things, we asked, okay, let's let them explain a little bit why did they do the things that they did. And the last 4 cards that we got was that Fool card. They took a leap of faith. They either weren't, I mean, this is them right now that is answering this question that I've posed, and they say something about they were foolish. They took a leap of faith in a direction. They really did want to offer something, but they really thought it could be short term initially. And that was all because it's as if they weren't using any of their higher self. Maybe they hadn't really become a very enlightened person at that point. They were kind of a fool. They stepped into a connection with someone that they should have recognized that this connection was going to really matter, but instead they thought it would just be short term anyway. And they might have been in a very low spot in their life. They didn't see how they could have some lasting happy relationship. They decided they deserved to have some little bit of happiness for themselves. I feel, and even though we didn't go down this road of like, what kind of a connection were they in, but it came across as if they were still in a marriage or something, and yet they met someone and they moved toward them. King of Swords, do you have anything to say about whatever the connection was that you were in, or whatever the situation is that you were in? We have the Hanged Man in the reverse, and we have the Star card. So they were saying, I had reached a point where I really thought I'm going to make changes in my life anyway. Then they meet this fabulous person and they go, wow, you know what? I mean, this whole situation that I've been in that's been unhappy or that has brought out the worst in me, I know that I want to end that anyway. I want to go after happiness. And for whatever reason, it's like their thought processes were further ahead than their actions truly were. Maybe they needed to end a cycle and start living their life according to their own hopes, wishes, and dreams. And yet, at the moment that they kind of had made that decision somewhere in the back of their mind, then they encounter this we've been calling them the mermaid person. They encounter her, and I feel like she is their hope, their wish. But the truth of it is, thinking that, you know what, I'm ready to end a situation and go after, my dreams and my goals is not the same thing as actually severing old connections, being clean and clear and free. The only thing they were clean and clear and free in was their mind, which is, I'm done sitting on the fence. I know I want to close out a cycle and I want to go live my best life. And then they meet her. And it's like, yeah, look at this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to experience some joy because I've made a decision. I deserve to be happy. I'm going to be ending a connection over here. I'm done with that. But I didn't take actions. Maybe I didn't even tell that partner that yet. Maybe I didn't sever those bonds yet. But you know what? I've made the decision, and here's this beautiful person, and I deserve to have some enjoyment. And this is going to be over anyway. So let me start something with her. And then it was like, oh my God, what have I done? I started a connection with her while I'm still in a connection over here, and I didn't close out a cycle previously. I just in my mind decided I was going to, and the realities of closing something out is a lot different than mentally just deciding that they're ready to do it. Ace of Wands. But for a hot minute, they go ahead and they submerge themselves in like, this is so perfect. I've met her. This is wonderful. This is what I want. This is going to change my life. It's all passion. It's wonderful. And so they really want to be with her. Then when did they recognize that that was not going to work? Because they've got this mermaid person, somebody who is ready to pour energy into them, is ready to, assuming that this person, that this King of Swords is on the same page, assuming that this King of Swords is loving and, wants the same things that they do, only to discover pretty quickly, I would say, that this King of Swords is keeping everything hidden and murky and bizarre. And then to make it worse, that King of Swords yo-yos in and out of their life continuously, and they go on and on and on and on and on like this, to the point where the mermaid person says, "You stay away from me. I don't ever want to hear from you again. I've moved beyond this insanity. I don't want to look at your face. I don't want to hear those words again. I'm done. It doesn't matter. You could say sorry 10 billion times, but all the confusion that you've caused," because the mermaid person never got the answers as to what was going on, but they decided to say, "I was protecting her." Well, I'm still we've just shuffled some cards, and we've got this other energy here for them still, and it looks like this King of Swords, oh my gosh, once they realized, I feel like they even said that they wanted to marry her. I feel like they did, and I feel like they were so caught up for a minute about how awesome this was. They had made a decision to sever a connection somewhere else, and at that same moment they meet her. They think it's going to be just a little dose of happiness, and instead she's really meaningful in their life. They go ahead and they blurt out, "I'm crazy about you. Let's plan this. Let's get married. Let's do all this." And then what do they actually give? Peanuts. Itty bitty breadcrumb peanuts. You don't say, "Let's get married. Here's a page's offer." You say, "Let's get married," and now that's a commitment. They should be making plans to, where are we going to live together? How are we, what's the wedding date? What's this? What's that? Instead, they handled the reality of this connection. They were good with words. They spoke lots and lots of words about really important things, and the effort that they put in was like a little kid with a Tonka truck, going vroom vroom vroom, when what they said is that they owned a sports car and that they were a professional sports car driver. And then what they actually did was vroom vroom vroom. That's a pretty big like break from reality. And the thing is, if they had explained their situation, truly their situation, to her, which they didn't, because they didn't want her to think that they were a player. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they became in her eyes. Well, not even that. She didn't say she thought of them as a player. She said they were someone that I would never deal with. They are someone who I've drawn a line in the sand. I'll never deal with another person who behaves that way. I don't want to hear their words. I made my life better, yes, but everything that she experienced with them was just a murky mess. Somewhere in here we had sorry, this is part 3, so I have cards everywhere at this point. Yeah, she said you see that we have a skeleton here in this 7 of Wands card. We saw this card come out, I think, in part 1, where I said, what's she think about them? And she said, it was doomed from the beginning. They lied and they were confusing and they created nothing but drama right out of the gate. And I don't want to talk about it anymore, or think about it anymore. With that 2 of Swords, she cut that free. She said there was no 10 of Cups for me to have with the person who operates that way. So they wrecked this from the gate. But the big thing is, have they yet understood? Because what we saw is they're coming in to give this big apology and this love offer, and she doesn't even want to hear it. So do they understand yet that there isn't a way to fix the choices that they made? 7 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, they do understand that. So why are they coming forward? Should we let them have a new deck? Why are they coming forward at this point when all the choices that they made? And look, sounds like I'm being so mean to this King of Swords. King, queen, doesn't matter. This is not about genders. But this person is still coming forward despite the fact that we have like a really ugly energy on this whole thing. Why are they coming forward? We've got the 6 of Swords sideways and the Queen of Swords, 6 of Swords upright, the Queen of Swords sideways. Because they think in their mind they at least owe her the the chance to move beyond this and maybe not be angry at them, or they kind of want to face her and at least let her unload whatever she may need to. um Boy, they think a lot of themselves, don't they? um Two of Cups. And they think that they need to go ahead. They are still hoping that somehow they can say and see it was always you, and they're hoping still somehow that this maybe could still be salvaged because they believe that she is their Two of Cups. Is that, oh gosh, universe, weigh in on this. Well, that's not a fair deck to use. Hold on, because so many of the cards out of that deck are already out. Let's go. I need a good deck on this. All right, let's go with this one. This is a pretty fair deck. Yeah, I guess my question here is that how love works? Is that how a bond like that works? With that, they're saying she's the only one I ever wanted. I mean, we can see that they made big mistakes, lots and lots and lots and lots of mistakes, one after the other after the other. They know that this is over because of what they did, but they still have this hope that they can at least say that this is how important you are to me. But I guess, universe, weigh in on that statement. This is how important you are to me. Universe says Page of Swords sideways. There's something to learn about this. There's information here that has not been gathered, that has not been seen. Prince of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. That this person is chaos. They're chaos in the way they operate. Was this King of Swords a villain? This says no. This is Loki. Loki is god of chaos. This person's thoughts, they just decide to do things impulsively. And that is their greatest obstacle. It is the reason they make mistakes. It is they suddenly blurt things out. They want something fantastic. They make a decision in their mind, but they didn't handle things in the tangible 3D world. That Eight of Pentacles says, you can think whatever you want. Our minds always go faster than even our lips can speak. And then our mind and our lips go faster than what our reality can be shaped into, because that requires effort. This person has a really big, and this is something for both of them to recognize. This King of Swords has always perhaps had a tendency to simply, what they think they can do and have and want, they just suddenly leap toward it and then worry about the reality of putting the effort in after the fact. It can't go in that order. We can have great ideas, but then there has to be some kind of restraint. It can't just be chaos. It can't just be like, I want this, so I'll just say I'm going to do it. And then, I didn't tell this beautiful mermaid that I now say I want to marry that, but I'm already married. Well, yeah, but I don't want her to think that I'm a cheat, because that's not it. I'm done with that other marriage. Well, no, I didn't end it yet. And that could take me a long time to end it. But I'm going to tell her that I want to marry her because I do. But I'm not going to admit to her, because I don't want her to think bad of me. I'm not going to admit to her that I still have another connection and it's going to take me years maybe to get rid of it. So I'll just slow walk everything with the mermaid. Oh gosh, she won't talk to me. Well, I'll come back and forth in and out of her life so she knows, see, I really care about you. See, I'm going to pop back up into your life. Don't ever forget about me, because I didn't forget about you. You're the one I'm going to be with. They make these really poor decisions because they're not investing properly first in their own, like, you notice how this person comes across as this impulsive kid instead of a master. They need to master their impulsivity. That's a major blockage, and that's Ganesh, remover of obstacles. If our character could have at any point in time grabbed a hold of their own energy and said, the world is shaped by what we think, because we then take action. We don't magically make our thoughts become things without actually putting effort into that. You can think all day, I want to eat an ice cream cone, but unless you walk your feet toward some place, or you drop a hint to your husband, like, I was just thinking today of, remember that day we took that walk on the beach and we had that vanilla ice cream? Wasn't that good? Like you can send that text to your hubby and he just might bring that ice cream home later on. But you put it in motion. It wasn't a thought that magically became a thing. You still put energy out there somehow. I mean, unless you're telepathic and you're sending that vibe, right? But even then, you can't end a relationship and start something new and have all the intricacies of something unless you actually probably put genuine effort more than just mentality into it. Life, if we didn't have to ever lift a finger and physically do anything, then basically we would just all be laying there as like blobs and just imagining the world that we want, and it would just somehow happen. But how would we interact with that world? So action is always required along with thoughts. Thoughts don't just become things without, you know, like motoring around and making stuff happen. That's the critical like ingredient that I think that this King of Swords needed to work on. They were operating or have always operated under this impulsive, childish, like undisciplined behavior, that what they want, they can suddenly decide because I'm ready for this, it's mine now. No, everything is not just yours just because you want it all of a sudden. When you pull that stunt, what you do is you make people really upset and you get a bad reputation. This king, I know this is so tough, but they weren't really a villain. They were impulsive because there was a lack of growth. And that was something they really needed to work on. And I would argue still have to work on. What about for her? Let's be fair. Universe, what's the message for the mermaid? The mermaid, Six of Wands, Ace of Swords. The mermaid has probably, in this case, okay, so there's two things on this. This is a card of, feeling successful, but there is also an arrogance to this card. Oh gosh, forgive me for saying it this way, but for her to live her very best life, listening to her intuition, knowing she's a person of value, but not letting oneself say, because I'm a person of value, I won't, ever bend. I don't have to listen to this crap. There's a fine line between having good boundaries and then also saying, well, I deserve blah, blah, blah. And so I won't take less than that. And that could be some of the arrogance speaking, because that can block learning, gaining true knowledge. All over there are her guides coming in, and there are signs and synchronicities everywhere. And there's an Ace of Truth. And the Tree of Life is here, which at the very beginning, we saw her with the Tree of Life on her back, which is about personal strength, backbone, the things that we grow in our lives. She can be done with this character, but be done with them for the right reason. Don't let arrogance get in the way of saying, well, you know what? They had a lot of learning to do. They shouldn't have been so chaotic. So blah, blah, blah. They don't get a chance with me. If she still actually wanted that chance with them, if she wants that chance with them, she's got to take away the ego and say, wow, I can see it differently. They weren't a villain. They made big mistakes. They were too impulsive. They do have growing to do. But on the other hand, life is always about growing. What are my guides guiding me to do? Meaning, really, what's my innermost self want to do? What do I want my life to look like? The Tree of Life says, what do we want our tree to grow into? The only way it's going to grow is depending upon how we prune it, how we nurture it. So what life does she want to have? And only she can answer that. But this begs her to say, don't let her ego dismiss them if she actually still wants them. If there is any of this Two of Cups, if she feels that way about them, she can't let her ego block her from being able to, like choose them still. On the other hand, if she really doesn't want them for all the right reasons, then let it go and keep growing without them. But that's a lot to, like, there's no right or wrong, right? There's only choice, and recognizing that the choices that our characters make, the only person who's going to suffer or feel happy is them. So there isn't anyone else who's going to shame them if they choose to get back together, or, like, that's the thing about not letting ego get in the way. If they want it, they can have it. It's only up to them. So the only person they really need to consult with is their innermost self. But I think, wow, that was a decent storytelling because it brought up so many interesting concepts. But a tough one for sure. You guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.